AfterBuzz TV, starting place to the likes of WWE female superstars Kathy Kelly, Sonya Deville, and Zelina Vega proudly presents Women's Wrestling Weekly, the world's first podcast and YouTube series dedicated exclusively to women's wrestling, featuring all the latest news as well as interviews with top superstars in the industry. And now, AfterBuzz TV's own gorgeous lady of wrestling, TK Trinidad.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Weekly, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and with me we have some special co-host. She hails from the valleys of LA. Please welcome Emily May.
Hi.
And she is the new backstage correspondent for Impact and WOW. Double duty there, Gabby Loren.
Hey guys, it is a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming back.
So love it.
I know. So, like no other, we always have this stuff. We're going to have Star of the Week, and we have special guests like we always do, and this one is no exception. She is the current Girl Fight champion. She's also the current Phoenix of Rise champion. She's also part of the Shine Championship tag team. That's a lot. Whew. Please welcome Aja Super Perera. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. Oh, that title reign it sounds so nice when you say it like that.
I know. I was like, I think the list could be a little bit longer too, but we have a show to do. So, but congratulations. Let's first off shout out to Ariel Monroe because I had to hit her up. She's a friend of the show. She's been on the show twice. I had to hit her up. I'm like, look, we need Aja on the show. Can you make the connect? And she did. So shout out to Ariel for doing that. I really, really appreciate it because I know you wrestlers are sometimes busy and you don't check your DMs, but that's okay. That's cool. We're here right now. So let's get into it. Tag team champions for Shine. First, black females, like duo or trio, I should say, to win it. What was that experience like?
It's really cool when things like that happen, and it's one of those things where you say like, oh, I'm creating history. But, it's just a blurb until you actually do it. And then you're like, wow, I really made a change. I've made an impact. And then it's cool enough that I'm there with Ariel, who me and her are really close. We've been friends for years. And then the whole situation with Shine and us being a team, kind of being thrown together and making that work. So having that whole thing come full circle. And then not only, me, her, and Ashley get those belts, which means enough. Then to make history on top of that, it's really it's unforgettable. It's one of those things where I know when I'm old, I'm going to be like, back in 2019. It is really cool.
So how did it come about? Well, let's first start with how did the tag team come about? Because I saw in an interview that you said that you don't tag team that much. So it's it kind of seems like you want to tag team with people that you like, people that can work, people can go like you. So how did the tag team come about?
It's funny because it was not our idea at all. So I had finally debuted in Shine, and the Nova tournament had happened, and then it was the next show the other month, and they were doing tag tournament, and I found out I was booked, and I was like, I don't know how I'm booked, but okay, I'm a singles wrestler. And so when I got there, they told me it was Ariel, and I was like, oh, well, praise the Lord, at least it's somebody that knows what they're doing, because I'm really weary of tag teams. And then so it's funny because we get there, we're like, oh man, we're a team. Okay. What gear do you have? And she pulls hers out and it's like purple and green. And I was like, well, looky here. And I had like my purple and green gear. And then the colors matched perfectly. Thank God. But yeah, it wasn't our idea. Like, I can't even be like, oh, me and Ariel talked about it. Like, we were just thrown together. And it's so funny because people thought we had tagged before that because we just kind of clicked and connected. But like, no, it just happened and it stuck.
And then how did Aaliyah get into the mix?
It's funny because the same exact way. So I get a text from Ayla, and she's like, yo, I'm a part of y'all's group now. And I was literally like, what? And then we got there, and Sal was like, yeah, she's going to be you guys' manager. And we were like, well, all right. And luckily she fit in too, and it just clicked. So I'm really lucky with this trio. I feel like it's, it's meant to go somewhere because everything just happened so randomly, but it all worked out so perfectly.
Yeah, and I mean, you are the triple A's, triple threats. Love it. So is there something that you would like to do next? Like, you have this championship. It was a big milestone for you. What are you looking at towards the future now? What is your next goal?
As a team, I'm hoping we can get into Shimmer, do some damage at Shimmer, because I mean they got some really good teams, but I feel like AAA is one of a kind, and we're dynamic. There's no group of 3 completely different black girls. Let's just add that first. There's no dynamic like that. You know, there's nothing like that. The way we move, the way we walk, the way we talk. There's no one out there like us, and I think we could really kind of flip Shimmer inside out if they give us that chance.
Love it.
I would love to know, how did you work together to create your story and that moment in front of fans?
I don't. If you've been around Ariel, she's crazy.
Yes.
So we'll say.
In a good way.
In a good way. I love Ariel, and we kind of feed off of each other. So if we're both in a locker room, it's probably loud and it's crazy.
Sounds fun.
So it was just one of those things where, like, you know what, like, we're not even going to put that much pressure on ourselves. Like, we got here for a reason. We're just going to go in there like we always do. We're going to act up. We're going to have fun. And we're just going to walk out with those belts. It was one of those things, you know, like, we didn't even want to put that much pressure on ourselves, because I'm a firm believer that, like, when you work hard, it pays off and you get your due. It might not be when you want it to, but, like, it happens. So I was finally there in the moment, and I was like, nothing is going to ruin my mood. Nothing's going to sour me. I'm just going to go in and have fun.
So now you started in 2013. A lot has changed as far as in women's wrestling. Like, you know, I'm just looking at what we have coming up as far as guests. And it's I think maybe we've had maybe 1 or 2 people who've been on the show a second time. We're approaching our 100th show, so we've had almost 99 different wrestlers on the show. How has wrestling changed from when you started in 2013 to now?
Completely different. And mind you, I started in the South. So there was a lot of challenges women had as a whole, but there's a lot of challenges Southern women had. So when I came in, we were that special attraction match that went on right after intermission, because, you know, they're like, well, we got to keep them in the seats. You know how they love to say that stuff. We were treated as that, you know, like that sideshow. Especially I started at 18. I had my first match at 19, so I was really young. So it was one of those where people would literally tell me, like, oh, you don't got to go out there and do a lot. You're a girl. That's all they want to see anyway. So I was told stuff like that. You know, I was told that I shouldn't worry about the moves. I should worry about what I'm going to wear. I was told, you know, oh, you're a black girl, so you can't make it far. You know, I was told that I have to work 3 times as hard for half of what someone else gets, you know. And now we're in a day and age where, first off, black women are on the forefront. Let's just talk about it. We're finally, you know, getting our due. And there's so many promotions now just for women. Because when I came in, I think when I started, it was Shimmer, Shine, and just WSU, if I'm not mistaken. Or those are the ones that I watched. I had to watch like Joshi wrestling to get my women's wrestling fix, because it wasn't cutting it over here for me, because it was really, there was no opportunities for women. I could keep going on and on. Like, it's just how much we can do now. And I mean, there's still people who are gonna say stuff, but the majority is like girl power. We're here. We're not just the special attraction. We're not the popcorn match. It's not, you know, TNA. It's not, you know, everyone's not trying to look at your booty. I mean, you can look at my booty. It's fine. But it's not here for that. You know, like, we're viewed as that's the main thing. We're viewed as real competition now.
And now there's an article where you said that it felt like you were 20 steps behind. What do you think there needs to be done as far as female wrestlers and black female wrestlers to almost get the equal footing? So we're kind of getting there. It's far different than 2013. But what else do you think needs to be added?
I feel as black women, though, we're basically still back there, because if you look on major promotions, and I don't want to get heat for this, but it does need to be talked about. If you look at major promotions, there's not many women of color. Like, now you can look at it. And I mean, there's still, in my opinion, there's still not enough women signed. It should be half women, half men, like equal number. That's what I believe. And even now, it's like a sprinkle of women and nothing but men. And then even within that sprinkle of women, it's like maybe 1 or 2 African Americans. You can look at any promotion. I mean, like, of course, WWE is larger, so their number's larger, but when you get down to like ratios, it's still the same. And then that leaves someone like me, like I had to retrain the way I thought, because when someone would get signed somewhere and they're a woman of color, I was like, crap, I'm not going to get signed now. They already reached that quota. Black girl's been signed.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks that we have to think that way. And I've trained myself not to, but that's still a fact. You know, I'm just not letting it keep me down. But that's something that needs to be discussed. That's something that needs, not discussed, that's something that needs to be changed. It's not a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
It's fact. We all see it. We all know it. We all talk about it. But as Black women, you know, it's like we have that bigger target on our back. And it even as far as it goes to like someone, there could be two girls with the exact same gimmick, and more than likely they're not going to get the African American because she's doing something different. You know, she's not popping bubble gum, snapping her fingers, acting, you know, ghetto, as people would say.
Mm-hmm.
So they swallow us differently, because I was a superhero for literally 5 years. And I was literally told, oh, I can't really put you in anything serious. Nobody really takes you serious. No, you know, no one's going to really believe in you. And I'm like, why? Because I'm doing something serious? Because there's been plenty of superheroes in professional wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and they get belts, they get pushes, they get looks, you know, probably even signed. But because I'm a Black girl that's doing something different, it's not palatable for some reason.
So now, Aja, when you were going through all this adversity, I know you said you talked yourself through certain things, like when other people would get signed, filling quotas, but what else was going through your mind? What were you doing to pull through to be where you are today?
I would sit back and I would tell myself, you know, when I get to a point where I'm getting things, I'm going to speak on this. Like, this won't be in vain.
Mm-hmm.
So it propelled me, because I'll be, if it hinders me from getting stuff, I'll be that person, just so it's changed later. So that literally motivated me. And I always told myself, like, even my trainer would tell me, he's like, you know, you have something special and you're going to make it. So it was never a question to me if I was going to make it. It's just when.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets frustrating. But I feel like my journey has been longer for a reason. And now me and Ariel, we're always talking about it. You know, we're always pushing the agenda, because like there's not enough people that do. So that was one of those things that I'd always tell myself. And I'd always tell myself, you know, like, I would be like, times are going to change. I can't, you know, if I just sit here and I wallow in the now, then when the time is changed, I'm not going to get anything, because I've been too busy, you know, wallowing in pity. So I would literally train myself to like think about the future. Like, and it's funny because I would be like, man, one day when I'm on Shine, this moment's not even going to matter. And then I've made it to Shine. I'm like, when I make that Shimmer debut, it's going to be all good. And like, I'm finally here. So I would really just look forward to like my goals and my aspirations.
There you go.
Yeah, Aja, was there a moment or a match that really changed the game for you that made you think, okay, I have to wrestle for the rest of my life? And what was that moment?
Oh, I've had two. I had one when I very, very first started, and I faced this. I don't know if you've heard of her, La Rosa Negra. She's extremely underrated. Mm-hmm. She's so good. She's an amazing human being. But I was really new and I was really, really green, and I faced her. And when I tell you, she carried my ass. Like, like I felt it during the match. And when we got out, I was like, man, you really carried me. I suck. And she was like, don't say that. Just be better. Wow. And I was like, you know what? That makes so much sense. And since then I was like, I'm going to be better. And like, I'm going to be in this business and I'm going to make a name for myself. And then the other one, I actually didn't even wrestle, but I went to Ring of Honor. I was kind of like having, you know, talks with them and stuff. And they wanted me to come out with Kelly Klein, part of the Klein crew at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, wow.
And even though I didn't wrestle, just stepping out there and seeing so many people, and I thought I was going to be nervous, and I was so comfortable. And it was one of those moments where I was like, yeah, this is where I'm meant to be. Like, this is who I'm meant to be. There's nothing else in this world that would give me this feeling. And again, even though I didn't wrestle, like all I did was stand up on the apron, and I was just like, everybody's looking at me. This is your girl's moment, okay? And it felt so good. And I keep chasing that feeling now. Like I'm just meant to be here, and I'm meant to be at such like a larger scale.
Now, you started wrestling when you were 18, which is young, but it's also a good age. There's people who finish college and university and they still don't know what they want to do. So you know what you want to do. What at one point in your childhood, or when you started training, it's like, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, or for the rest of my I can go life.
Right, because
Yeah, this 50 probably not gonna be cutting it.
Time sensitive.
It actually wasn't training for me, because it's funny, because I always tell people I've been a fan my whole life. I've loved wrestling, but I was okay being a fan. Your girl was not trying to take no bumps. She was not trying to get hit. I was cool sitting in the crowd and just cheering for people. And my sister, Ravana Sin, she wanted to be the wrestler, so she drugged me there. So training this stuff was cool, and I was like, this is pretty fun. I enjoy this. But when I actually had my first match, and when I stepped out into the crowd, it was when I was like, oh my God, like I'm on the other side of the screen. Like that's how it felt for me. And I was like, this is so freaking cool. So like, not only did I have like first match jitters, I also had just like, oh my God, this is my like dream job at the same time. Like like that realization, like it was a really weird feeling for my match. Like I was just like, ugh. But that's when I really knew like, this is it. There's nothing else that I could ever do in my life that would give me this much happiness.
What's some advice that you could give some young wrestlers looking to get into the industry?
Be kind, and don't. This sounds terrible. Don't be stupid. And when I say stupid, I mean like I'm about to say some stuff that people don't like, but I'm used to doing that every time. Be loyal to yourself, because I came up, and I mean, I feel old when I say this, but like when I came up, you're loyal to your trainer, you're loyal to your promotion. Yes, do that. But like you have to migrate. You have to train different places. You have to meet different people. You have to go to different shows. You can't just stay right there. And as much as people don't want to admit it, every trainer is not a good trainer. Every trainer does not care about your well-being. Like just be smart. If you think someone's taking advantage of you, leave. If they're trying to blackball you, who cares? Leave, because it's not going to do anything for you. You're just going to sit there for who knows how long and then be bitter when you've missed your time. And people always love to, people love, you got to be loyal. I've been through, luckily, my first trainer, he pulled me to the side one day and he was like, there's no more I can train. Like, there's no more I can show you. And I was like, what? And he's like, you gotta move forward. You have to move on. And I'm taking that to heart. And if I hadn't have done that stuff, I wouldn't be right here. If I stayed loyal to people who I knew weren't good for me, I wouldn't be here right now. So just be smart and think about your actions. Save money. Don't just waste it.
That's for everybody.
That's an important lesson.
Listen, don't take, I'm sorry, say some people don't like, don't be driving 12 hours for $20. And unless it's an opportunity, but sometimes these people are like, oh, we're on freaking, what's that everybody has an account on? Like, we're on not Powerbomb. It's another one. And they're like, oh, we're on this pay-per-view thing. And it's
something.
like, so is everybody. Like just be smart about it. Just be smart.
So what's the game plan? So we know that you and Ariel want to take over tag teams all over the place. But what's the 5-year game plan as far as your career?
Your girl trying to get contracted like now. Okay,
right now.
Like right now. If anyone's listening, I'm open. I'm free. Right now.
Well, there's a bunch of promotions on television right now. So is there one that you have your eye on specifically?
No, which is so crazy to say. I'm just one of those people. I'm like, whoever finds interest in me, I'll go, because I came up like, I want to wrestle here and I want to wrestle there. And they didn't give two craps about me. So whoever place will have me and will let me do my thing, I'm good to go. A-okay.
Oh my goodness. So
that's amazing. Well, I'm really impressed with, you fighting back on adversity. All the accomplishments that you've really been able to do in this business. I'm sure obviously it was always hard to be a woman, nonetheless a black woman in this business. So for, just those up and coming wrestlers, going back to that topic, that are trying to get into this business now, you gave some advice, but what would you say to those people that want to get on these promotions that you're currently working for? How do you get in?
You just have to be patient and you have to work hard and I love to share this story. If I'm ever talking too much, let me know, because I can talk forever.
Oh no, you're good.
But when I first started, I was okay. So my boyfriend at the time got signed to WWE, and I was like, cool, that would be a cool place to kind of like maybe get my foot in the door, because someone's already in there that knows me. So I was like, that would be cool. So I would show up, I would set up chairs, I would do all that stuff. They still didn't look my way. I paid for a seminar. They still didn't look my way. Actually, they picked another girl over me at the seminar, and I was like distraught. And then I kept showing up, and I just kept, putting in the work, and I just kept like, hey, if you need me, I'm here. I'll help out, I'll do whatever. And then luckily, like I finally, because I think I did that for over a year, and then I finally got my break. And then that's how I got into Shine, so like just stay consistent, but also while you are pushing, trying to get to the door, make sure you are ready for that opportunity. Because if you're not, like, like I did all that to get into Shine, and then I had my match and it was trash. What was the point of even doing that for a year? But I got in there and like I killed it. So that's what kept me there. So make sure you're doing what you can that keeps you there, not just gets you to the, not just gets you to the dance, but like you get to stay and you get invested in and you get, looked at and what you need out of it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So I would say networking is super important, being amongst the people that you want to be working for and with, right? And then putting the work in and training and keep on it. That seems like that's everything you did. So it's a strong message to those out there that are working for this dream too.
Now, you have wrestled quite a few people. Who has been your favorite person to wrestle? Like, if you could wrestle them tomorrow and again, like your most amazing match where you're like, that's awesome.
Oh my God. Actually, and I can't find it anywhere, so it makes me mad. I faced Havoc.
Ooh, I love Havoc.
Yeah, in that match, like I learned so much, and she taught me so much, and like I'm even further now from when I faced her then. So I would absolutely love to face her again and actually get the footage this time, because no one seems to know where it is. Oh no!
Isn't Havoc great behind the scenes too?
She's so sweet and she's so funny. Like I love her to death.
And now, who would you like to have some matches with that you haven't had matches with yet?
I want to face Holiday. I actually put that on Instagram last night. And even though we're in a team, me and Ariel would have a freaking fire match, and someone needs to let us do that. Like, I know we're a team, but friendly competition is okay, people.
Oh yeah, that would be an amazing match. That would be an amazing match. All right, so we're gonna hit some rapid hot tags real quick.
Women's Wrestling Rapid Hot Tags.
So, always early or always late?
Always early.
You have to think about that one. What is the one thing that you love about yourself?
I like my hair.
I like your hair too. It's popping. Dinner dream guest.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Dinner dream guest.
Shane Helms.
Favorite ice cream: chocolate cookie dough or cookies and cream?
Oh man, cookie dough.
Who would play you in a movie?
Ooh, Zoe Saldana.
Okay. Ooh. Celeb you would like to meet?
Justin Bieber.
Last show you binge watched?
Grey's Anatomy.
If you were a crayon, what color would you be?
Maroon.
And if you were to listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Maroon 5 Songs About Jane album.
Boom, there it is.
Wow.
Nice and simple. Now, where can people find you? Y'all should be following her already, but just in case, where can people find you?
Should be following me, but I am on Twitter at Perera Power. I'm a hot mess on Instagram at Aja_Perera. I'm on Facebook at Aja Perera. I'm on YouTube at Aja Perera. Just type in Aja Perera and you will find me.
And then also, one last question. Born in Brazil, correct? But raised in the U.S.?
No, I'm not from Brazil at all.
What? Everywhere online says you're from Brazil.
I know, and I'm trying to get that changed. So, okay, when I first started, my trainer was like, "Oh, you got to look, ethnic and be from Brazil." I was like, "Okay, cool." And I was like, "Man, this is lame." So I stopped, and it just stuck. And I'm like, "Why does everybody think I'm from Brazil?"
So they built you from Brazil,
So
but
they build you from Brazil, but you're not from Brazil. That's
One
crazy.
time.
We have to call Google.
I know. You know who said that? Faye Jackson, when we interviewed her, they said the same thing to her. They wanted her to be more exotic other than just being a black female from America. Like,
That's
that wasn't
insane.
enough. So that's crazy that you say that, because everywhere I look, that's the first thing that pops up.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, Brazilian born." I'm like, I am black, 100%. No.
Yeah, girl, you are exotic. You don't need to be Brazilian. Come on.
Thank you.
That's crazy. Even today.
That's wild.
It boggles my mind that this goes on, but obviously it goes on for all of you that are not involved in the wrestling business. You just like to watch it for fun, or you're not in entertainment. This goes down every day, not only for wrestlers, but for actors.
Entertainers.
Everyone gets kind of like put in a box and labeled, and we got to work on that. Okay. Got to get better.
Well, let's make it official here, folks. She is not from Brazil at all.
Change it.
No,
not born in Brazil. Born and raised in Atlanta. Where are you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Athens, Georgia.
Athens, Georgia.
Born and raised Athens, Georgia. She is not from Brazil, y'all. So that needs to be on the press release, just at the very top.
We'll highlight it really big.
I know, right? Thank you so much, Aja, for joining the show. We really, really appreciate it. We have a little bit more show to go. So we are going to hit the star of the week. So we are changing things up for season 4. Flobito is going to be, Flobito, and, we're going to pass it on depending on who's in the studio, all that good stuff. But Flobito is going to do the star of the week for us, and he's going to take it right now.
Hey guys, it's Flobo. And now it's time for your Star of the Week. This week's Star of the Week is Bentley Powell, aka Killer Powell to her friends. This Denver, Colorado native has been mixing it up since starting wrestling in November of 2017. Currently, she works for the Respect Women's Wrestling organization, where she is its first champion. A lifelong fan of the sport, she has gone toe-to-toe with some current legends, such as Kira Hogan. And for working on her craft, that's why Bentley Powell is our Star of the Week.
Of the week.
And that was Polito. He's amazing as usual. Just shows up and shows out.
Yeah.
That's just how we do. So what do you guys think of Aja?
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to watch where she goes and what other promotions she gets to be involved in. I think she's a rising star.
Definitely agree. I love that she has a story. I love people that work hard and have to spend years on the grind to get to what they need to get to, because there's something to be said about the journey, and she has a lot of perspective on this business, and I think we need to learn from people like her. So I loved it.
She has a great positive attitude and has learned so much in the short amount of time that she's been in the game. And that just shows you that she's working hard, dedicated, and passionate about wrestling in this business.
Yeah, it's so crazy to me that there's so many in the promotions that are on TV. There's a decent amount, like she said, it's not half and half, but there's a decent amount of women that we know that are in the locker room that we don't see on TV. A la WWE, NXT. We haven't quite seen AEW just yet, but there's so many women out there that are amazing wrestlers that should be signed.
Totally.
So it's just kind of one of those things that, do we need all, we have WOW, but do we need more all women's wrestling promotions that are on television so that the world can see?
Yeah, or even more main events with women. There's so many times where I'm watching these big pay-per-views and big events for these huge wrestling companies, and it's like, sometimes the women's matches are better than the men's, and I want to see more of the women. So I don't know. I think it's a trend right now. Ever since the women's evolution happened, people want more. So I love that we have people like Aja who are bringing light to this, and hopefully we get more.
Yeah, and more women in the writers' room as well, because that
definitely
also matters.
Because we need those perspectives. Because you can't write a women's show without women in the writing room and as producers.
Yeah,
it's a very good point.
You definitely need more.
Yeah, so we'll see. So now, thank you guys for joining me. Where can everybody find you?
Well, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Gabby Loren TV. That's GABBYLOREN TV. And also in the next few episodes of Impact, as well as Bound for Glory. Check it out.
Amazing. So I'm going to watch it all. So you can find me on all social media platforms at Emily May Heller, and we can continue the conversation.
And thank you guys so much for joining. Without you guys, we wouldn't be the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. We are the #1 because of you guys who watch. We are in season 4, and I can't believe it. I think like I said before, we might have had 2 or 3 people who've come on the show again, but everybody else has been new, and we have new people coming on, new people from different promotions that are on television, that are indie scene, all that good stuff. So we're really looking forward to it. Really appreciate you guys for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, any comments, if you want to see anybody on the show, please let us know. You can DM us at Instagram and Twitter at WPW Weekly. Other than that, you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. Till next time, ciao guys.
Bye.
From executive producer Kevin Undergaro, our founder Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world. We ask that you subscribe, rate, and comment on Women's Wrestling Weekly at Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to our AfterBuzz TV wrestling channel on YouTube for this and other outstanding wrestling content. Buzz you later.